The grand halls of the Zexorian palace glimmered with an eerie blue light as King Vorex paced back and forth. His 7-foot-tall frame cast long shadows across the polished crystal floor. His daughter Lyra sat quietly in her hovering chair, her pale blue skin almost transparent, showing the weak network of veins beneath her large almond eyes followed her father with worry. The king stopped pacing and turned to face her. "My child, our people are dying. The humans have technology we need. Their medical advances could save our species, but they refuse to share unless we offer something valuable in return." Lyra nodded, knowing what was coming. She had always been too weak to serve as a proper princess of the warrior race. Her immune system barely worked, and she spent most days trapped in the clean rooms of the palace. "I have called a meeting with the Earth Alliance," Vorex said, his voice deep and rumbling. "They will send a ship to our world tomorrow. You will be gifted to their captain. As a sign of our trust, you will teach them our old wisdom while they help cure our people." Lyra felt fear in her heart, but she nodded again. For her people, she would do anything, even leave her home forever. The council meeting that evening was tense. The 5 tribal leaders of Zexor gathered around the floating table, their faces showing doubt and anger. "This is madness." Elder Kral shouted, his fist hitting the table. "Send the princess to live among aliens. We should fight and take their medicine by force." The king stood tall, silencing the room with his presence. "The humans have weapons that could destroy our world. We are dying. Elder Kral, our children are born weaker with each generation. Soon there will be no Zexorians left to fight. The humans offer help if we share knowledge." This is the only way. Lyra sat quietly at her father's side. She had studied the reports. The genetic disease affecting her people was spreading faster now. Nearly half of all newborns died within their first year. Only 1 in 10 reached adulthood. She herself was considered lucky to have lived 20 cycles, though her body remained weak like a child. After the council meeting, Lyra returned to her rooms. Her servant Mila helped her prepare for bed. The old woman had raised Lyra since her mother died giving birth. "You should not go," my princess, Mila said, brushing Lyra's long silver hair. "These humans, they are strange creatures. They might hurt you." Lyra smiled sadly, touching Mila's wrinkled hand with her thin fingers. "Father has no choice. Our people need this alliance. I have studied the humans. They value knowledge above all else. They will treat me well if I share our history with them." That night Lyra could not sleep. She floated to her window, looking out at the 3 moons of Zexor. She had never left the palace grounds, let alone traveled to another world. The humans would arrive tomorrow, and her life would change forever. She activated her data tablet, reading through the files on Earth and its people. They looked so different with their solid-colored skin and small eyes. Their world had so much water and green plants everywhere. The images fascinated her. Their cities reached high into the sky, much like Zexorian cities but with sharp angles instead of curves. Morning came too quickly. The royal dressers wrapped Lyra in traditional robes of state. The soft purple fabric was light enough for her weak body to bear, but elegant enough to represent her status. Golden threads woven through the material showed her royal lineage. The servants placed the crown of knowledge on her head, the ancient medal containing centuries of recorded history. King Vorex entered her chambers. He wore his battle armor. Though this was a peaceful meeting, his eyes softened when he saw his daughter. "My Lyra, you look like your mother today. She would be proud of your courage." Lyra tried to stand from her hovering chair, but her legs trembled. The king knelt before her, taking her small hands in his. "Do not fear, daughter. The human captain was chosen carefully. She has honor. The reports say she has never lost a crew member under her command. She will protect you." The sound of engines roared through the palace. The human ship had arrived. Servants rushed around, preparing the grand hall for the meeting. Lyra was moved to her formal hovering throne next to her father. She could feel her heart beating fast in her chest. The human delegation entered the hall, 5 of them walking in formation. Their uniforms were blue and gray with shining medals and symbols. Lyra studied them carefully, trying to remember her lessons on human body language. The leader stepped forward, a female with hair the color of fire pulled back from her face. Her eyes were green like the plants in Lyra's data tablet. She stood straight and confident, but her expression was kind. "I am Captain Kate Wright of the Earth Alliance vessel, Aurora King, Vorex. We come in peace, offering friendship between our worlds." The king nodded. "Captain Wright, we welcome you to Zexor. I am told you bring doctors who can help our people." "Yes, Your Highness," the captain replied. "Our medical team has studied the information you sent. They believe they can develop treatments for your genetic condition. We bring samples of medicines to begin testing immediately. Then it is time to complete our agreement." Vorex said. He gestured to Lyra. "This is my daughter, Princess Lyra of the House of Vorex. She carries the ancient knowledge of our people. She will be yours to protect and learn from. In return, we ask for medical assistance for our dying population." Captain Wright looked at Lyra, her eyes widening slightly at the princess's fragile appearance. She bowed deeply. "I accept this honor, Your Highness. The Earth Alliance is committed to peaceful exchange. We will help your people, and I personally promise your daughters safety." Lyra felt the captain's eyes studying her, measuring her weakness. But there was no pity in the human woman's gaze, only respect and curiosity. This gave Lyra hope. Perhaps the humans would see beyond her fragile body. The king stood. "This is settled. Then Princess Lyra will depart with you today. Captain, the medical team may begin their work immediately in our research facilities." Lyra had 1 hour to gather her personal belongings. She chose carefully, taking only what was most important: her mother's crystal necklace, her data tablet containing thousands of books, and her comfort blanket woven with medicine to help her sleep. She said goodbye to Mila, both of them trying not to cry as servants carried her to the human ship. Lyra looked back at her home one last time. The crystal spires of the palace glittered in the sunlight. She did not know if she would ever see them again. The future waited on a strange world with strange people, but perhaps there she would find strength she never had before. The human ship Aurora hummed with strange energy as it left the atmosphere of Zexor. Lyra sat in a special chair the humans had prepared for her. It adjusted to support her weak body perfectly. Captain Kate Wright stood nearby, watching as her crew prepared for the jump to hyperspace. "Are you comfortable, Princess?" the captain asked, her voice gentle. Lyra nodded, though comfort was not really possible. Her body always ached, but the chair helped. "Yes. Thank you, Captain. Where will we go first?" "To our research station orbiting your world," Kate explained. "Your father allowed us to build it last year. Our best doctors work there. They will examine you and begin treatments. While they work, I will teach you about humans and you can teach me about your people." The ship shuddered slightly as it accelerated. The view screen showed Zexor growing smaller until it was just a blue dot among stars. Lyra felt a tightness in her chest. This was really happening. She was leaving everything she knew. Dr. Melissa Patel entered the bridge. She was shorter than Captain Kate, with dark hair and kind brown eyes. The doctor smiled at Lyra. "Princess, I would like to do some basic scans if you feel well enough to visit the medical bay." Lyra nodded and the doctor pushed her hovering chair through the corridors of the ship. Crew members stopped and bowed as she passed. Their eyes showed curiosity but also respect. The medical bay was bright and clean with machines Lyra had never seen before. The doctor helped Lyra onto an examining table. "This scanner will create a complete map of your body systems. It will not hurt at all. Just lie still for a few minutes." Lyra did as instructed. The machine hummed and lights moved over her body. She watched as images appeared on screens nearby showing the inside of her body. Her bones looked thin and fragile, her muscles barely developed. Her lungs were small and weak. Dr. Patel studied the images with great interest. "This is fascinating, Princess. Your anatomy is similar to ours in basic structure, but with important differences. Your respiratory system is much more efficient. Your brain has areas we don't have at all, and your cellular structure is quite unique. Is it bad? Lyra asked quietly. Not bad at all, the doctor replied, just different. And these differences will help us understand how to treat your condition. But I see why you struggle. Your muscle density is only 20% of what it should be. Your immune system is attacking your own tissues, and your bones lack proper minerals. But we can fix these things. After the examination, Captain Kate showed Lyra to her quarters aboard the ship. The room was larger than Lyra expected, with a special bed designed for her body. The gravity was adjusted to match, Zexor making movement easier. These will be your rooms while we travel, Kate explained. The journey to Earth will take 2 weeks. We will begin some basic treatments during that time. If you need anything, just speak to the room computer. It will help. You or contact me. Lyra looked around the room, touching the strange materials. Everything felt different than home. The lights were brighter. The air smelled clean, but without the familiar sense of Zexor. The floor was solid beneath her hovering chair. Not the crystal she knew. Captain Kate seemed to notice her discomfort. The first journey from home is always difficult. Princess, I remember when I first left Earth. I cried every night for a week. But it gets better, I promise. The next day, Dr. Patel began the first treatment. She injected Lyra with medicine that would help her immune system stop attacking her body. This is just the beginning. Princess, the real work will start at the research station. But this should help you feel better while we travel. As the days passed, Lyra spent hours with Captain Kate learning about Earth and its people. She was surprised by how emotional humans were. They laughed and cried openly, showing feelings in ways Zexorians never did. Lyra found herself fascinated by human culture, especially their music and art. In return, she taught Kate about Zexorian history. The captain was most interested in their technology and philosophy. She asked many questions about the crown of knowledge Lyra wore. It contains the memories of my ancestors, Lyra explained. When I become queen, it will transfer those memories to me, but that will never happen now. My father will choose another. Kate frowned. That seems unfair. You are still his daughter, even if you live with us. Lyra shook her head. A ruler must be strong, Captain. My body is too weak to lead our people. They need someone who can fight if necessary, but strength comes in many forms. Kate argued. Your mind is powerful, your knowledge valuable. True leadership is about wisdom, not physical power. Lyra had never thought of it that way. On Zexor, physical strength was valued above all else. Her weakness had always made her less important, but the humans seemed to see her differently. They respected her knowledge and royal status despite her fragile body. By the end of the first week, Lyra could feel changes in her body. The constant pain had lessened. She could sit without support for short periods. Dr. Patel was pleased with the progress. The medicines are working. Princess, your blood tests show improvement. Your immune system is beginning to function normally. On the 10th day of the journey, they reached the research station. It orbited Zexor, a massive ring of metal and glass. The station housed hundreds of human scientists, all working to help the Zexorian people. Captain Kate explained that teams of doctors had already gone to the planet's surface, bringing medicines and equipment. Lyra was moved to special quarters in the medical section of the station. The room had large windows looking down at her homeworld. The sight brought tears to her eyes. It looked so small from here, so far away. Dr. Patel introduced Lyra to the research team. 10 human doctors, all specialists in genetics and medicine. They explained their plan to treat her condition. First, they would fix her immune system, then strengthen her bones and muscles. Finally, they would help her grow stronger through special exercises and therapy. The treatments were sometimes painful injections that burned, drugs that made her dizzy, machines that sent energy through her body. But each day, Lyra could feel herself changing, growing stronger. Her skin became less transparent, taking on a deeper blue color. Her breathing came easier. Her hands steadied. Captain Kate visited often, bringing books and videos about Earth. She taught Lyra to play simple games that helped improve her coordination. The captain seemed genuinely interested in Lyra's progress, celebrating each small victory. After 3 weeks at the station, Lyra stood without help for the first time in her life. It was only for a few seconds before her legs trembled, and she had to sit. But the achievement brought cheers from the medical team. Dr. Patel hugged her, an emotional response Lyra was still getting used to. Soon Lyra began receiving messages from her father. King Vorax appeared on the screen, his face showing surprise at her improved appearance. The human medicines are working on our people too. A daughter. The first children are showing signs of recovery. He seemed proud, though he tried to hide it in the formal way of Zexorians. Lyra found herself adopting human habits. She smiled more often. She expressed her feelings. She even tried human foods, though her digestive system could only handle certain types. The doctors adjusted her diet to include nutrients her body needed, creating special meals that tasted strange, but made her stronger. One morning, Dr. Patel entered her room with excitement. "Princess, we have wonderful news. The genetic therapy is working better than expected. Your latest tests show significant improvement. We believe you may eventually reach normal Zexorian strength. Perhaps even beyond that." Lyra could hardly believe it. All her life she had been told her condition was permanent, that she would always be weak, always be different. Now these humans, strangers from another world, were giving her hope for a normal life. That evening, Captain Kate visited, bringing a special gift, a uniform like the ones worn by the human crew but sized for Lyra's body, and in the royal purple of Zexor. "When you are ready," Princess Kate said, "you will join us not just as our guest, but as part of our team. You have knowledge that can help us understand the galaxy better, and we can help you become stronger than you ever imagined." Lyra touched the uniform, feeling the smooth fabric. The symbol of the Earth Alliance was embroidered on one shoulder, while the royal crest of Zexor adorned the other, a perfect blend of her old life and her new one. She looked up at Captain Kate with determination in her eyes. "I am ready to begin." 6 months had passed since Lyra left her homeworld. The research station had become her new home, and the humans her new family. Each day brought new strength to her once fragile body. Dr. Patel had designed a special program combining medical treatments with physical training. The results were remarkable. Lyra stood in the training room facing Captain Kate. The human woman held training pads on her hands. "Strike again, but this time, use your whole body. Not just your arm," Lyra nodded, focusing her energy. She spun and kicked the pad with force that surprised even herself. Kate stepped back to keep her balance. "Good. That was much better. Your strength is increasing faster than we expected." It was true. Lyra's body had changed dramatically. Her once transparent skin now glowed with healthy blue color. Her muscles had developed, giving her a strong, athletic build. She had grown taller too, almost matching Captain Kate's height. Her silver hair now reached her waist, thick and shining with health. "Doctor." Patel entered the training room carrying a data pad. "Princess, your latest test results are amazing. Your bone density has reached 60% of normal Zexorian levels, your muscle mass has tripled, and your immune system is functioning at near perfect levels." Lyra smiled, a human expression she had adopted. "Your treatments worked better than anyone hoped." "Doctor, not just the treatments," Patel replied. "Your determination played a big part. Most patients would have given up during those first painful weeks, but you pushed through." Captain Kate nodded with pride. "Lyra trains harder than many of my crew. She never complains, never quits." The training continued each day, growing more intense. As Lyra's body strengthened, she began learning combat techniques from various human martial arts. The Zexorian anatomy, with its extra joint in the arms and legs, allowed for movements impossible for humans. Kate brought in different trainers, each specializing in different fighting styles. Staff Sergeant Olivia Martinez, a compact, muscular woman, became Lyra's regular sparring partner. Olivia specialized in a fighting style that used an opponent's strength against them. Perfect for Lyra, who was still building her power balance is more important than strength, Olivia explained as they circled each other on the training mat. "Know where your center is and you can defeat opponents twice your size." Lyra learned quickly. Her natural Zexorian grace combined with her new strength made her movements fluid and unpredictable. Soon she could hold her own against the trained human soldiers, sometimes even winning their practice matches. When not training, Lyra continued her role as cultural ambassador. She taught the humans about Zexorian history, philosophy, and science. The crown of knowledge she wore contained centuries of information which she shared in regular sessions with the research team. Many human scientists were fascinated by Zexorian mathematics, which used a different base system than Earth. Mathematics in return. Lyra absorbed human culture with enthusiasm. She especially loved their music and dance, finding the rhythms strange but compelling. She learned Earth languages, starting with Spanish from Olivia and Hindi from Dr. Patel. Humans were surprised by how quickly she mastered their tongues. Captain Kate took special interest in Lyra's diplomatic training, teaching her about the complex relationships between Earth and other alien species. The captain believed Lyra could become an important bridge between worlds. The galaxy is filled with misunderstandings, Kate explained as they shared a meal in the station cafeteria. Species meet, but fail to truly communicate. Each sees the other through their own cultural lens. What we need are people who can stand between worlds. People like you, Lyra considered this. Between bites of her specially formulated food. My father sent me as a gift, a symbol of trust. But you have given me more than medicine, Captain. You have given. For a purpose. 1 year after leaving Zexor, Lyra received an important message from her father. The king looked older, his face lined with worry. My daughter, he said, the treatments are working. Many of our children now survive to adulthood. But a new problem has emerged. The Dravek Collective has noticed our alliance with Earth. They see our recovery as a threat. They have moved warships to our border. Lyra immediately brought this information to Captain Kate. The captain called an emergency meeting with the station commander, Admiral Patricia Wilson, a stern woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. The three of them reviewed the intelligence reports. The Dravek are aggressive expansionists, Admiral Wilson said, studying the star maps. They probably hoped to take Zexor when your population collapsed. Now that we're helping your people recover, they see their opportunity slipping away. What can we do? Lyra asked. We cannot fight the Dravek. Our military is still weak even with improving health. Captain Kate looked thoughtful. The Earth Alliance has treaties with the Dravek. We could send diplomatic missions, try to ease tensions, but they respect strength above all else. The Admiral nodded toward Lyra. Princess, how would you feel about visiting the Dravek homeworld as an ambassador? Your unique position as both Zexorian royalty and someone who has lived among humans makes you valuable. They might listen to you. Lyra felt fear at the thought. The Dravek were known for their aggressive nature and physical power, but she also felt something new, confidence in her own abilities. Her body was stronger now, her mind sharper. She had faced many challenges this past year and overcome them all. I will go, she said, if it will help protect my people and our alliance. With Earth, the preparations began immediately. Lyra studied everything available about Dravek culture and customs. Captain Kate would accompany her as the Earth representative, along with a small security team, including Olivia Martinez. Dr. Patel insisted on coming too to monitor Lyra's health during the journey. While preparing for the mission, Lyra continued her training with increased intensity. She now spent hours each day in physical exercise, combat training, and diplomatic simulations. Some nights she fell into bed exhausted, her muscles aching. But each morning she woke stronger, more confident. 2 weeks before the mission, Lyra received a special delivery from Zexor. Her father had sent her traditional royal armor, not the ceremonial kind she had worn for formal occasions, but true battle armor made for a warrior princess. It had been her mother's, once altered now to fit Lyra's new, stronger frame. The armor was beautiful, lightweight yet strong. The purple metal gleamed in the light. Decorated with the symbols of her royal house, Lyra tried it on standing before the mirror in her quarters. She barely recognized herself. The frail princess was gone, replaced by a confident young warrior captain. Kate found her there still studying. Her reflection, "You look like a true Zexorian princess now." "Not just a princess," Lyra replied, touching the royal crest on the breastplate. A warrior. The day before their departure, Dr. Patel conducted a final medical examination. The results were better than anyone had expected. "Your physical development has exceeded all projections," Princess Patel said with excitement. "Your bone density is now 80% of normal Zexorian levels. Your muscle strength is actually above average for your age and gender." "How is that possible?" Lyra asked. "I was so weak before." The doctor smiled. "The treatments helped, of course. But there's something else happening. Your body seems to be making up for lost time. The genetic corrections triggered accelerated development." It's fascinating from a medical perspective. That evening, Admiral Wilson called Lyra to her office. The Admiral rarely showed emotion, but today she seemed impressed. "Princess, I have reviewed your training records. Your combat instructors report that you now outperform many of our human soldiers. Your diplomatic tutors say you have mastered Alliance protocols faster than any cadet they've taught." Lyra stood tall, feeling pride in her accomplishments. "Thank you, Admiral." Wilson studied her carefully. "I am recommending you for special status within the Earth Alliance, not just as a guest or diplomatic visitor, but as an official envoy with the honorary rank of lieutenant. This would give you authority during the upcoming mission." Lyra was stunned. Never had she imagined being offered such a position. "I am honored, but I am not human. My loyalty must be to my people first. That's exactly why this works," Wilson replied. "You represent both Zexor and Earth, an alliance that benefits all. Our peoples, we need more bridges between worlds, not walls." The next morning, Lyra donned her royal armor for the first time since receiving it. She attached the Earth Alliance insignia to her shoulder, showing her new dual status. Captain Kate met her at the shuttle bay with the rest of the team. "Ready for your first real mission, Lieutenant?" the captain asked with a smile. Lyra straightened her shoulders, feeling the perfect balance of the armor, the strength in her own body, the confidence that came from all she had learned. A year ago, she had been a fragile princess gifted to aliens in a desperate bid to save her people. Now she was returning to space as a warrior diplomat with the power to make real change. "I am ready, Captain," she replied, "more ready than I have ever been." The Earth Alliance vessel Horizon cut through space, its engines humming with power. Lyra stood on the bridge beside Captain Kate, watching as they approached the Dravik homeworld. The planet looked harsh from orbit, mostly desert, with small oceans. It matched what she knew of the Dravik themselves, a tough reptilian species evolved in difficult conditions. "Lieutenant," the communications officer called. "We are receiving a transmission from the surface. Put it through," Kate ordered, standing straighter. The view screen flickered, showing the scaled face of a Dravik official. His yellow eyes narrowed when he saw Lyra. "I am Minister Zarks of the Dravik Collective. We have approved landing for one shuttle only. Your weapons must remain powered down, Captain." Kate nodded. "We come in peace, Minister." "As agreed, our shuttle will bring myself, Princess Lyra of Zexor, and 2 staff members," the Dravik hissed softly. "You bring a Zexorian to our world, Captain." "An interesting choice." "Very well. Landing coordinates are being transmitted now." The minister disappeared from the screen. "That went well," Kate said with a small smile. Lyra raised an eyebrow, another human expression she had adopted. "He seemed surprised to see me." "That's good," Kate replied. "It means they don't know everything about our alliance. They expected only humans." The shuttle journey to the surface was tense. Lyra sat beside Kate, while Olivia Martinez and communications specialist Grace Chen completed their team. All 4 wore their formal uniforms, though Lyra alone wore her royal armor. The purple metal gleamed even in the shuttle's dim light. "Remember," Lyra Kate said softly, "the Dravik respect strength above all. They will test you, try to make you show weakness. Don't let them." Lyra nodded. "I understand." She had studied Dravik customs extensively. They were warriors, proud and aggressive. They would see her Zexorian heritage and expect the weakness that had plagued her people for generations. they would not expect what she had become. The shuttle landed. In a massive courtyard surrounded by tall stone buildings, guards waited for them. Large reptilians with body armor and energy weapons. Their leader stepped forward as the Earth team exited the shuttle. "I am Commander Krell. Follow me. The diplomat. We'll see you now." They were led through corridors of polished stone. The architecture was imposing, designed to make visitors feel small and vulnerable. Lyra walked confidently, matching her stride to Captain Kate's. The Dravak guards kept looking at her, their expressions showing confusion and suspicion. The diplomatic chamber was circular with a raised platform at its center. A large Dravak male sat on an ornate chair. His scales were darker than the others, marked with patterns that signified. High-rank Minister Zarks looked down at the visitors, his tail twitching slightly. "Captain Wright," he said, his voice deep and raspy. "Thank you for coming so quickly. Earth has always been prompt in responding to our requests, but you bring strange company." He looked directly at Lyra, a Zexorian on a diplomatic mission. "Most unusual. Their kind rarely leave their world, and when they do, they are too weak to be effective." Lyra stepped forward. "Minister Zarks, I am Princess Lyra, daughter of King Vorex. I represent both my homeworld and the Earth Alliance in this matter." The minister hissed in surprise. "A princess serving humans. What would your father say?" "My father approved this alliance," Lyra replied calmly. "It has brought healing to our people and strength. To our worlds we come today to discuss the increased Dravak military presence near Zexorian space." Zarks stood, revealing his full height, nearly 8 feet tall. He stepped down from the platform, circling Lyra, studying her. The Zexorians were dying, their genetic weakness making them easy prey. Now suddenly they grow stronger, form alliances. The collective wonders what other changes might come. Captain Kate spoke. "We have shared medical technology with the Zexorians. Technology we would gladly share with the Dravak as well. The Earth Alliance seeks peaceful cooperation with all species." The minister continued circling, never taking his eyes off Lyra. "You look different from other Zexorians I have seen, Princess Stronger. Your coloring is deeper, your stance confident." He moved, suddenly reaching for Lyra's arm with surprising speed. Lyra reacted instantly. Her Zexorian reflexes, enhanced by months of training, allowed her to sidestep the minister's grasp. In the same motion, she gently, but firmly blocked his arm, redirecting his momentum. The move was defensive, not aggressive, a perfect demonstration of the techniques Olivia had taught her. The room went silent. The Dravak guards reached for their weapons, but stopped at a gesture from Zarks. The minister stepped back, his yellow eyes wide with interest. "You move like a warrior, not a Zexorian princess," he said. His tone had changed from dismissive to curious. "You have been trained by humans, both trained and healed." Lyra explained. "My condition was the same that affected my people. The humans helped me grow strong just as they now help all Zexorians. The alliance benefits both our species. It could benefit the Dravak as well." Zarks returned to his seat, considering her words. "The collective has always respected strength, Princess, but strength comes in many forms. Military power is one, but perhaps adaptation is another." The negotiations continued for hours. The Dravak minister asked many questions about the medical treatments, about the alliance between Earth and Zexor. Lyra answered with confidence, explaining the benefits of cooperation rather than conflict. Captain Kate added details about trade agreements, technology sharing, and mutual defense. As they spoke, Lyra noticed the minister's attitude shifting. The initial hostility faded, replaced by cautious interest. When Lyra demonstrated some of the medical technology they had brought, scanning Zark's body and identifying a joint inflammation, he hadn't disclosed his interest, grew stronger. Finally, the minister stood again. "The collective will consider your proposal, Princess. We will reduce our military presence near Zexor for now, as a show of good faith. In return, we request medical advisors to visit our world to determine if your treatments might benefit certain Dravak conditions." It was more than they had hoped for. Lyra bowed slightly in the formal Dravek manner. "I will personally ensure the medical team is prepared, Minister." "Thank you for your wisdom." As they left, the diplomatic chamber commander Krell approached Lyra Princess. He said, his voice low, "You fought in the Battle of Krizat alongside your father." Lyra was confused. "I did not. My health never permitted me to join battle." The commander seemed surprised. "The way you move. The confidence you reminded me of King Vorex during that campaign. He moved like water yet struck like stone." The comment stayed with Lyra as they returned to the shuttle. Captain Kate squeezed her shoulder as they took off. "That was impressive, Lieutenant. You handled him perfectly." Lyra smiled, thinking of the commander's words. "I never thought I would be compared to my father. He was always the warrior. I was always the weak one. Now perhaps I am becoming something new. Something, neither fully Zexorian nor human, but stronger because of both." Their success with the Dravek brought new opportunities. Upon returning to the research station, Admiral Wilson called Lyra to her office. The Admiral rarely smiled, but today her expression was almost warm. "Well done, Lieutenant. Your mission exceeded expectations. The Dravek have formally requested a medical delegation, and they specifically asked that you accompany them." Lyra asked, surprised. Wilson nodded. "They seem quite taken with you, a Zexorian princess who moves like a warrior and speaks with diplomatic skill. You represent something new. A bridge between worlds." In the following weeks, Lyra found herself increasingly busy, not only preparing for the Dravek medical mission, but fielding requests from other species who had heard of her unique position. 3 more alien governments had contacted the Earth Alliance, expressing interest in similar arrangements. The alliance was growing, expanding beyond anything originally imagined. During this time, Lyra continued her training, pushing herself harder than ever. Her body responded, becoming even stronger, faster, more resilient. The doctors were amazed by her progress. Her Zexorian physiology, once a source of weakness, now provided advantages that humans lacked. Her reflexes were faster, her senses sharper, her flexibility greater. Captain Kate found her in the training room one evening. Lyra was practicing a complex martial arts sequence, combining human techniques with natural Zexorian movements. The result was beautiful, almost like a dance, but with deadly precision. "You look like you're preparing for war, not diplomacy," Kate commented, leaning against the doorway. Lyra completed the sequence before answering. "To the Dravek there is little difference. A diplomat who cannot defend herself is not worth listening to, and there are rumors of trouble brewing beyond Dravek space. The Vorn hegemony has been expanding aggressively." Kate nodded. "I heard the reports, Admiral. Wilson is concerned they might target newly allied worlds to test our resolve. The Vorn were known for their cunning. They preferred to attack weaker targets, pushing boundaries to see what they could take. They had avoided direct conflict with Earth, but regularly harassed smaller worlds, especially those seeking alliance protection." That night, Lyra received an urgent message from her father. King Vorex looked grim. "My daughter," he said, "Vorn scout ships have been detected near our outer colonies. They jam communications and disappear before our ships can respond. The Earth Alliance has sent patrols, but they cannot cover all our territory. We fear this may be preparation for an attack." Lyra immediately reported this to Admiral Wilson. The Admiral called an emergency meeting of her senior staff, Lyra and Captain Kate among them. The royal palace of Zexor looked different to Lyra as she approached it after 18 months away. The crystal spires still reached toward the sky, but they seemed smaller, somehow less imposing. Captain Kate stood beside her as their shuttle landed. "In the courtyard, strange to be back?" the captain asked, sensing Lyra's thoughts. Lyra nodded. "It feels like returning to a childhood home. Everything is familiar, but I'm seeing it through new eyes." King Vorex waited at the entrance, his tall frame straight and proud. Despite his formal expression, Lyra could see emotion in his eyes when he looked at her. The king had aged his face, showing new lines of worry. "My daughter," he said, bowing slightly, though tradition said she should bow to him. "You have changed, Lyra, bowed in return, feeling the easy movement of her strong body. "Father, I bring greetings from the Earth Alliance, and I bring help." The formal reception moved to the council chamber. The 5 tribal elders waited there, along with military leaders. All stared at Lyra with undisguised shock. The frail princess they remembered had been transformed. Her royal armor fit perfectly over her athletic frame. Her movements were confident, graceful, powerful. Elder Kral, who had opposed sending her to the humans, approached first, studying her closely. The reports were true. Then the human medicine worked. More than worked. Lyra replied, "It saved me. And now it will help save our people. In more ways than one." Captain Kate presented the defense plan to the council. Zexorian ships would be paired with human crews, creating a joint patrol force. They would guard the outer colonies against Vorn incursions while training Zexorian crew members in combat tactics. The Earth Alliance would provide weapons upgrades and shield enhancements. "And who will command this force?" Elder Kral asked, his voice suspicious. Lyra stepped forward. "I will, along with Captain Wright. We have Admiral Wilson's authority, and I hope my father's approval." The council chamber erupted in argument. Voices rose as elders and military leaders debated. A princess in command was unprecedented, especially one who had lived among aliens. King Vorax watched silently, letting the debate continue. Finally, he raised his hand, bringing instant silence. "My daughter was sent to the humans as a gift," he said, his deep voice filling the chamber. "She returns to us as a gift as well, stronger, wiser, a bridge between our worlds." He turned to Lyra. "The Joint Command is approved." The next weeks were filled with intense activity. Lyra and Captain Kate established their command center in an orbital station above Zexor. They selected crews, assigned ships, and developed patrol routes. The work was challenging, but Lyra found she had a natural talent for leadership. Her Zexorian heritage gave her insight into her people's strengths, while her human training provided new tactical approaches. Captain Kate observed this with pride. "You were born for this. You know, not just diplomacy but command. You think in ways neither humans nor Zexorians do alone. You see possibilities others miss." Lyra had never considered herself a natural leader. Before her transformation, she had been defined by her weakness. Now she found herself making decisions that affected 2 worlds. The first test came sooner than expected. A Vorn scout ship was detected near the mining colony of Zex Prime. The newly formed patrol responded 2 Zexorian vessels with mixed crews. Lyra commanded from the lead ship, with Olivia Martinez as her security chief. Captain Kate monitored from the command center. The patrol ships approached the Vorn vessel using a pincer maneuver Lyra had developed. "This is Lieutenant Lyra of the Earth-Zexorian Alliance," she transmitted. "You have entered protected. Space, identify yourselves." The Vorn ship attempted to flee, but the faster Zexorian vessels cut off its escape. The Vorn captain finally responded, his image appearing on the view screen. His species resembled large insects with compound eyes and mandibles. "We claim scanning rights in this sector," the Vorn captain clicked. "These are unclaimed territories." Lyra stood tall, facing the screen. "You are incorrect, Captain. These colonies are under joint protection. Any aggressive action will be met with unified response." The standoff lasted nearly an hour. The Vorn testing Lyra's resolve, trying to find weakness. But this was not the fragile princess of old. Lyra remained calm, firm, explaining the consequences of violating Alliance space while offering peaceful alternatives. Finally, the Vorn ship retreated, slipping away toward their own territory. This first success boosted morale among the joint crews. Word spread through the Zexorian fleet about the princess, who had returned transformed from her time. With humans, more volunteers came forward wanting to join the program. Many were younger Zexorians who had benefited from the human medical treatments. Their bodies stronger than previous generations, they were eager to serve. King Vorax visited the command center, observing operations with interest. He watched Lyra as she conducted a briefing for patrol commanders. Her confidence, her strategic thinking, her natural authority all impressed him. When they were alone, he spoke candidly. "You have exceeded all expectations, daughter. When I sent you to the humans, it was a desperate gamble. I hoped only that they would help our people survive. I never imagined you would return as a leader." Lyra smiled, touching her father's arm. "The humans did more than heal my body, Father. They showed me that weakness can become strength, that differences can be advantages. They value things we overlooked. Knowledge, perspective, adaptability." The king nodded thoughtfully. "Perhaps that is why they thrive despite being physically weaker than many species. They see value where others see only flaws. As the Joint Defense Force proved its effectiveness, other species took notice. The Dravik Collective formally requested to join the alliance, bringing their powerful warships to help patrol the borders. Minister Zarks himself came to the command center to sign the agreement. "Princess," he said, his scaled face showing respect, "you have created something unique in this sector of space. A true cooperation between different worlds. The collective wishes to be part of this growth." The alliance continued to expand. 2 more species joined within months, each bringing unique strengths, each receiving benefits in return. Medical technology was shared, defense networks established, trade routes protected. The command center grew, becoming a hub for interspecies cooperation. Captain Kate was promoted to admiral, with responsibility for coordinating all alliance military operations. She insisted that Lyra receive equal rank within the command structure, though her title remained princess by Zexorian tradition. One quiet evening, as they reviewed patrol reports in Lyra's office, Kate spoke thoughtfully. "When we first met, I thought I was receiving a fragile alien princess to protect, a diplomatic token. That I would teach you about humans and you would teach me about Zexorians. A simple exchange." Lyra looked up from her console, but Kate smiled. "It became something much more important. Neither of us could have predicted this. A true alliance, a joining of strengths, a new way forward for multiple species. And you at the center of it all." Lyra had been thinking about this too. Her transformation had mirrored the transformation of relationships between worlds. What began as a desperate measure had evolved into something powerful and lasting. 2 years after Lyra first left her homeworld, representatives from 12 allied species gathered in the Grand Hall of the Zexorian Palace, the same hall where she had been gifted to Captain Kate. Now these diverse beings came together to sign the Interstellar Cooperation Accord, a formal alliance that would ensure mutual protection, cultural exchange, and technological sharing. King Vorex opened the ceremony, his voice strong. "My people stood on the edge of extinction. Our weakness threatened to end our civilization, but we found strength not in isolation, but in alliance." He gestured to Lyra, standing proud in her formal armor. "Now my daughter will speak as the living embodiment of what cooperation can achieve." Lyra stepped forward, looking out at the assembled representatives, humans with their adaptability, Zexorians with their sensory perception, Dravik with their endurance. Each species different, each valuable, each with strengths and weaknesses. "My journey began as a gift," she said, her voice clear and confident. "A desperate exchange between worlds. I was sent away because I was too weak to serve my people. I returned not just healed, but transformed. Not just by medicine, but by understanding." She touched the Earth Alliance insignia on her shoulder. "The humans taught me that true strength comes not from dominating others, but from joining together. They showed me that differences can be advantages, that adaptation is more powerful than force." Lyra moved to the central table where the accord waited. The document was both digital and physical, written in all 12 languages of the Alliance. "This agreement marks not an ending, but a beginning. A new way for our species to exist. Not through conquest or competition, but through mutual growth, through recognizing that we are stronger together than apart." Each representative stepped forward, signing the accord. One by one, they committed their worlds to this new alliance. The last to sign was Admiral Kate Wright, representing Earth. She smiled at Lyra as she pressed her thumb to the document, completing the circle. That evening, a celebration filled the crystal halls of the palace. Representatives from all 12 worlds mingled, sharing food, music, stories. King Vorex found Lyra watching from a balcony above. "You have achieved something remarkable, daughter," he said, pride evident in his voice. something I never thought possible.